Intuition is a dangerous thing. Humankind has long sought answers, the truth about the stars, ourselves, and all of our reality. Reality defies understanding. Humankind takes shortcuts, leaps in logic, guesswork, acceptance of truths unproven. Reality defies understanding. Reality defies understanding. Reality defies understanding. Yet we try anyways. Intuition is a dangerous thing. Last time you burned down a second house. I believe that's where we started.
Yep.
There was quite an explosion of 2 thermite grenades that rapidly ignited the building. Thermite grenades hitting this extremely heavy metal, dense, fleshy body that was just a lot to burn there, and everything else started burning with it. You managed to get the sheriff out of there, barely, but it seems like he's going to be in really, really rough shape. Unfortunately, Hematite did not make it out. You gathered up her notes, realizing that people were after these notes, and you just could not let these notes that have this ritual in them fall into the wrong hands. And as you toss them into the fire, somebody who was hiding nearby dove after them to try and rescue the notes and was unsuccessful. Well, they survived. They died, the notes survived. So you threw the notes back in, and there was no second person to intercept them again. But clearly you were right. People were drawn to these notes. Dr. Collins was talking about how he knew exactly where the notes were, even though you had not given him that information, and so High Tide took care of that problem. You called in some janitors to come and clean up the bloody mess that has been left behind, and just the generally extremely messy, I was going to say hospital room. I've bought into the delusions. The hotel room that several of you have been staying in your unfortunate, corrupted state as this infection has taken over. But as luck would have it, you are all now healthy, one way or another. Either by means of this treatment that Dr. Collins had come up with, or some kind of ritual that High Tide performed. To your knowledge, none of you are currently infected. You all feel much better, you're on the mend, you're no longer having these weird thoughts inserted into your head, anything like that. And you've decided you've got a couple things you need to chase down here. A, you need to secure more hazmat suits. Those are on the way, but they haven't arrived yet. B, you need to investigate the Benthic Company, a biochem research facility in the area, who the person who jumped out to save the notes had a badge on them from the Benthic Company. And you have heard back from the FBI that the person on the body cam footage from before, the man who vomited all over Deputy Jacobs and started this whole investigation, he was a Dr. Brent McCaslin, an employee at the Benthic Company. So we've got those 2 things to take care of, and also C, Deputy Jacobs' body in the morgue is currently just kind of blooming, for lack of a better word. There is fungus spreading throughout the morgue, and you may need to just burn the place down, or find some other way to cleanse it. But you've all woken up this morning. You're all you've healed up a little bit and recovered some willpower. I think everyone's recovered willpower, right? So you should have rolled a d6 for that. I think we did all of that. I see some d6s in the chat, so I think we did that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I definitely did that last time.
Right then. The floor is yours. It is a new day. I guess what day of the week would it be today? I believe this is a Friday. It's been a few days since you got here. Yeah, that sounds about right. A few days since you got here, it is now Friday the 10th. And a lot has gone wrong in these past few days. What are you all doing?
Hunter is going to try eating food for what he is still certain is like the first time in weeks.
Mm.
I'm not really sure how he's gonna get around to getting it. He'll probably just like ask somebody to bring him like bread from the store and a jar of peanut butter. He's still probably like too weak to move his own body at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. We've got a couple of priorities. Which one do you guys think is more pressing? Taking care of Deputy Jacobs' very grown, mushroomy corpse, or the Benthic Company first? Checking out Dr. McCaslin's house.
Taking care of the corpse is probably the most important thing, right? Because otherwise, who knows how much it's going to grow. Kind of seems like we should be doing that first of all.
Well, I don't think the fire department is engaged yet today. Unless other of you were setting houses on fire while I was asleep.
Unless I did it in my sleep, I don't think any of us set fires.
Well, let's see if we can go a day without any arson. All right, so let's over to the downtown sheriff's station because we're gonna if we're gonna take care of the situation without burning down the entire police station and morgue, we're gonna want support and
Yeah, and
probably flamethrowers.
I would also say, given how quickly this spreads, we should keep our information to a minimum to the police. That way they do not send officers and put them in more harm.
Yes, absolutely. Probably the will be for the three of us or one of us or our team goes into the station in our hazmat and we just have the fire department on standby, ready to put out the fire if it spreads beyond where we intend it to spread. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I mean,
Or do we just
I feel like the morgue is pretty well contained. They've got those fridge things that they keep the bodies in. Do we think flames would be able to jump out of those pretty easily?
As a reminder, too, one of the deputies saw you guys there previously, and you told him to quarantine that place. And the coroner's assistant also like knew you needed to quarantine that place, and it was like you probably needed to destroy it and stuff. So if you do set
yeah.
fire to it, it is going to be known who did it.
And that's kind of why I want to check in with the sheriff's station first.
Can't we just say that, like, for the sake of containing a pandemic or something, the body must be cremated immediately? Like, I'm sure there's lots of paperwork there, but kind of seems like we should just be able to do that.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, if it's the same thing that we've been seeing, Dan, you saw the coroner's body. It was goo by the time it was done.
yeah, and also I did start to try to incinerate Deputy Jacob's body, and it was when I went into the room where his body was stored. That's when I found out that the entire room was covered in fungus. And that's why we need a little bit more of a larger scale solution, I think. Because we got to get all of the fungus out of that room, and it's got to burn. So either we burn that room down and prevent the fire from spreading beyond it, or we burn the whole station down.
Then maybe room it is.
Did Grace say they had set up a fallback for us?
A fallback, no, but she did say that she was going to send janitors some backup and some more gear. We should have the hazmat suits today.
Well, this is not in character. I believed they were gonna blame it on Proud Boys.
Yes, they were blaming the infection and what happened to Deputy, like the source of this spreading into the town is being blamed on them.
Hmm.
It would
And
be
plus,
hard to blame the fire on anyone else because you've already essentially told people you were going to do it. um, unless you go and take care of those witnesses and hope they didn't talk to anybody in time.
so we've got the entire station cleared out because I know it's got to be quarantined, and that the only way to deal with the invasive fungus is with fire. So yeah, we just gotta go burn that room down or something. Need enough fire to make sure that no fungus escapes that room.
I think some gasoline and we can have all the fire we need.
Hmm.
Paula just eyes him a little bit like you didn't see how much of it there was. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you two also need to get a good look at it too. Uh, we
I'm
also
just
have.
glad I'm not the only one seeing the fungus anymore.
I'm kind of unhappy for the same reason, but I get it. It's now it's now it's here. All right, so to the satellite police station, the downtown office, because we got to check in with these guys about what we're about to go do, whether we burn the whole place down or just the one room. Maybe we can get, like I was saying, fire department support or standby.
That works for me, and while we're there, we can attempt to get some information on
Uh,
Brent.
I had Dr. McCaslin.
And whether that's I just try to get onto one of the police computers without asking people, because we don't want them investigating. But that is a good course of action.
All right, so let's head down there and start getting this all coordinated.
All right. So you find that satellite branch of the sheriff's office downtown, and it's much smaller. But it appears that it's not like currently overcrowded with people. It appears that the deputies are currently out and about and quite active today. You see, perhaps you pass the main office on the way and see that the lot is empty of cruisers. It looks like they really just have packed up everything there and moved it over. But you don't see all the cruisers over here. Clearly, a lot of these officers are handling a lot of stuff that happened yesterday. And imagine some are even with the sheriff who is at the hospital at the moment. But inside, you find the same man you saw at the actual main office yesterday, who the excuse me, the coroner's assistant Janet referred to as Deputy Uriah. Um, and he is currently just like handling a few different phone lines and typing away at a computer in there. It's much smaller. There's not many like stations here, but he's at one of the few desks and is clearly working hard coordinating things. Yeah, we moved things over just like you wanted. Quarantine that place. It's all covered in yellow tape. Nobody goes in there now.
Outstanding work. Thank you very much, Deputy. We're here to discuss the next courses of action to deal with the quarantined area and hopefully get some information on one of our leads.
He nods silently, waiting for you to continue.
So we have our first big lead was the individual who had jumped into the fire at Cassandra Jacobs' house. We've positively identified him as Dr. Brent McCaslin. He supposed to live in town, I believe. The undersheriff said he could help out with getting some of that information.
I believe Brent is the one in the highway with the deputy, not the one that jumped in the fire. I believe that was a woman.
I think they were the one and the same person. Because that was where the badge was found above table. And we found Dr. Brent McCaslin's badge on the corpse.
I think this is correct. I think you may have recognized the face of the person who jumped in as the man on the road, and then the badge said Benthic, and then later you heard the man on the road was you learned his name from Grace. Like all the pieces came together. But yes, I believe it was the one and the same person who dove into the fire.
Okay, I had them separated for some reason. Thank you.
This is a totally fair thing to clarify. So, good. Okay, so you were asking about where he lived and stuff. Is that what you were saying? Sorry to.
Yeah, just where he lives and any information that local PD might have on him.
Yeah, you mentioned yesterday. Okay, I started bringing up some records here. We got an address. He doesn't have a criminal record or anything. We don't have too much on him. But if you want to go and visit his place, you already know his workplace, Benthic. We discussed that yesterday. You can take his address here. He lives about a kilometer out of town. Anything
Great.
else I
Thank you.
could look up for you on him, or it's most of what we got as standard routine stuff.
Absolutely. I don't think anything else on Dr. McCaslin, but we do need to discuss how we're going to clean up the infection over at your main station. And
Yeah.
I imagine you were there when I was on the phone with the undersheriff, so you know the only way that we know of to eradicate it. So I don't know, should we have that conversation with the undersheriff? Because we are looking at using a lot of fire in the coroner's offices in that room in particular.
Really, ideally, we'd talk to the actual sheriff about this, Sheriff Potter. But in the moment, it seems more urgent than we have time for. We don't really know when he's going to wake up again. And he kind of pauses after saying that, like the reality of what he just said kind of sets in. That he recovers, he shakes it off a little bit. I suppose Under Sheriff Pullman would be the next best bet. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Uriah. We'll give him a call. Is he going to be at the hospital, do you think, at this hour, or is he out patrolling, dealing with any of what didn't get dealt with yesterday because of the fires?
He should be at the hospital last he made contact. Yeah. I believe he's, dealing with the families, answering a lot of questions. There are other people in the hospitals that have been injured in some of the fires recently, there's just been a lot of shakeups. A lot of people want to speak with him, want to speak with the sheriff, and he's sort of handling all of that.
And then I guess another thing, have you had any of your other officers or the coroner's assistant or anyone call in sick in the past day?
Nope. All of our agents are still healthy, except for, of course, Sheriff Potter. Obviously. Um, Jana Reese was working yesterday. I haven't heard from her today, but I assume she's not working because it's quarantined. But I don't really know what she's doing with her time.
She wasn't showing signs of infection yesterday. She's probably okay. The quarantined, the primary quarantine area was much deeper in the coroner's offices.
She was lucky then. That's good.
Very, very lucky. Our own doctor examined the corpse and became very infected. Uh, he's he's being taken care of.
Good, good.
But thank
I'm
you.
glad he's getting care. Um, of course, I'll be here if you need more information. Best of luck out there, Agent.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck to you. I hope nothing crazy goes on today. You guys seem a little stretched thin.
Yeah, he kind of like raises his eyebrows and gives a nod, like yeah, and then turns back to what he's doing.
And also, please let us know if anyone does call in sick so we can go check up on them.
Understood. We will make sure to follow up on that stuff.
All right, head outside and give Under Sheriff Pullman a phone call.
All right. It rings for a little bit long, and you wonder for a moment if he is going to pick up, but he does. This is Pullman.
Good morning, Under Sheriff. This is Agent Calder.
Yeah, we spoke. We met in the office a couple days ago. Yeah. We got that quarantine done like you requested.
Yeah, he's just stopped in at the downtown station. We checked in with Deputy Uriah. Thank you for getting all that done so quickly.
Oh, good, good, good. Um. So
So,
what now? What are we doing with this quarantine?
what now is actually exactly what I was calling you about. We need to handle the quarantined area. We need to clean it up very quickly, too. We can't have that spreading any further. And for that, we need to coordinate with you because we're going to be using a lot of fire indoors. We don't want the whole station to go up.
You need to burn down our shop.
That one examination room, at least, yes.
I really wish the sheriff was awake for this. Um,
You don't have to send any of your men in. We've got enough agents uh, on site. Two of my agents were got a clean bill of health this morning, and we've got more hazmat on the way.
how urgent are we talking here? Are people's lives at risk right now?
Right now, no. But the longer this infection goes on, the more of the station we're going to have to clean up.
Okay, that's pretty urgent.
Is it possible to have the fire department on hand and ready just in case we're unable to contain it to those rooms alone? I imagine you have fire suppression systems inside as well.
We do.
It's required by code. I'm pretty sure I saw a rolled up fire hose in the hallway.
Go ahead and give me a persuade roll. You know, we don't have time for the sheriff to wake up. I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and do it. We can ask for forgiveness later. We need to contain this. We need to contain the danger as well as possible. Yeah. Call the fire department. I'll call them too. I'll make sure they know you're calling. I don't like this, but we don't have much other choice.
I understand. We're not terribly thrilled with it ourselves. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. I'll let you get back to your day.
Thanks. Click.
Turns to the other two. All right, we're go. So we got to hit that rendezvous point, and to Hunter's credit, probably get a decent amount of gasoline. 'Cause I don't think we have flamethrowers.
Not this time.
All right, so dial up the fire station and let them know that we're going to need them to be on standby outside the quarantine sheriff's office.
Okay. I think we can fast forward that a little bit. You guys have already kind of set up all this stuff. You've dealt with the authorities in the area, so we'll skip ahead to a few hours later in the day. You've coordinated everything. There's several fire trucks set up outside the office, and we see all of you arriving at that scene, ready to go. We see firemen like pulling back yellow tape that's crisscrossed over the door into the sheriff's office, all in their full firefighting attire, ready to do things inside the building if needed. Just being as cautious as possible about this whole thing. And as you arrive, one of the firemen approaches you. Morning. I'm Billy.
Good morning, Billy. I'm Agent Calder. And these are my fellow agents over here.
Morning, agents. So I'm the fire chief around here. How are we handling this? You all want to go in and set the fuel and ignite it that way? You want our boys to be present with you? Do you want them to do most of this and you be present? How are we handling all this? What's the procedure here?
All right, for the sake of the safety of your firemen, we're firefighters. We're going to be the three of us going in, setting the fire, and all we need is you folks to be on standby in case it's a little bit out of our control. We only really want to be burning down one room in particular, maybe a little bit of the hallway leading to it.
Understood. All right, I'll round my people up. You guys do what you're gonna do. We'll be on standby at the drop of a pin.
Thank you.
All right, quick question. Is there
Yeah.
a bomb suit in the police station?
Roll me a luck. They might have one. I don't know if it would be here or in a different location. Okay, you rolled success on luck, so yes, they do have a bomb disposal unit here, and there is a bomb suit. It's not it tucked into like one of the departments inside the building that you didn't go in before, but once you guys head inside and start getting ready, the sheriff's office is pretty empty, so you're able to kind of freely move about and find what you're looking for.
I'll put it on.
We should also grab some oxygen tanks from the fire chief because we're going to be in a burning room full of smoke.
Are you
Makes
still
sense.
wearing your hazmat suit?
I'm going to be wearing, yes, I'm going to be having the tank underneath.
All right, because I kind of want to put on the bomb suit, and if there's a second one, I would give it the hunter. Because
I
I don't
imagine
want to be
that
vomited on again.
in the intervening time, we would have also got the other 2 hazmat suits that Grace was sending.
Okay. If
Yeah,
that was
I
less
can
than
just
an evening.
I can wear whatever like the lightest of the protective gear would be. I'm probably not gonna be useful if I'm wearing like a really heavy suit and trying to do the work in here.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think so. I think you guys have just the hazmat suit and now this bomb suit that High Tide has found. So if if you want like Hunter to stay a little farther back or something like that, handle a task that's a little farther away and wear a little bit less protection, that's a possibility.
That would probably be for the best.
Yeah. All right, Hunter, if you want to get the fire containment stuff, all set up in the hallway, just be on standby, ready for us. If it starts, getting out of
Will
control.
do.
All right.
So you
Probably a
enter.
couple of jerry cans of gas with us as we go inside.
All right. So you enter with these jerry cans of gas. The place is empty, like I described, and High Tide has already kind of wandered and found a bomb suit, and perhaps as Hallow and Hunter are entering through the front door after speaking with the firefighters, High Tide is coming through the back of the sheriff's office in a full bomb disposal unit suit. And you descend into the morgue, and it is dark down there. Whoever left most recently just turned off all lights as they left, probably Janet, or perhaps it was whoever came through to quarantine the place previously. And do you guys turn on the lights, or are you just moving in the dark and laying the gasoline that way? What are your plans here?
Turn the lights on, if it's
Okay.
all right with you guys.
Yeah, I can't imagine we'd be able to work very well in the dark. None of us have dark vision, right?
Well,
Also,
I happen to be a drow secretly.
Whoa.
so if you've got a couple grow bulbs, make sure we take them out. Don't want the fungus growing with some UV bulbs. Bad joke, I'm sorry.
All right, so what's on?
All right, lights
hallway.
on. And the lights are, you go from the darkness down here that you were just getting used to the very bright lights that are just harsh fluorescence. And you start walking through these ominously quiet halls. There's no more Janet at a desk just typing away and writing on a notebook occasionally. There's no sounds of any movement in here at all. And you head back into the room where Deputy Jacob's body was deposited previously, and it just looks like a normal room. There's no fungus crawling out of the door. There's no cracks or anything falling apart. It looks exactly as you left it.
All right. Hunter, you're going to stay back. I think, there should be a fire hose down near the corner of that intersection back there.
I waddle back and prepare to douse.
So you said the entire room is covered in fungus. Is that true from what we see now?
Once I open the door, maybe.
The room is currently clean to your eye.
The room where he was stored or the hallway?
Both.
Oh.
All right. Which one
Is his
he
body
stored in?
still here?
Do you enter the room where his body was and like walk up to that door and open it?
Oh, yes. Like that I think that's what we meant is that room still full of fungus?
That the room is so I was kind of picturing his body previously like tucked into one of those like for lack of a
Oh, like
better
one of the
term, I can't remember, but like one of the little like storage units for a body, like little shelves, alcove, whatever. That like the body is put in to sort of, temporarily preserve it. It wasn't like he was out on an examining table.
The
Okay.
fridges with the metal trays.
Yeah, the fridges, whatever the deal is there. I don't know enough about morgues, clearly. Um, but yeah, so it's like the room with all of those like fridge doors up against the walls. That whole room is clean, and like Hilo had previously walked in here and like opened one of those doors to get um Deputy Jacob's body out of the like fridge unit thing, and then go to incinerate it. Um, and that's when you saw the fungus. Is when you had opened the door. But the room that
Okay.
that door is
I
in
thought
is
it was the
clean.
whole room. Okay.
Yeah. Nope, just the
Yeah.
just a little unit. But it appears that like at least the situation hasn't gotten worse or anything. Like the fungus hasn't crawled out of that unit or anything like that. It's not like yeah.
And from my limited knowledge of morgues in TV, all of the units, it's one refrigeration. It just is a door that can be pulled out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
So I would start opening doors that are not the one that Hallow's opening.
Okay. You see a handful of bodies. Most of the units are empty at the moment, but Janet did say there were a few other bodies in this unit that were waiting for, you know, inspection or whatever. Obviously, they don't have a main coroner at the moment, so there's a few things that were kind of put on hold. But so there are a few bodies in these other units, but you don't see any fungus in them. Most of the units are empty.
All right. I'm going to open up the one that I previously opened.
All right. You open it up, and it is empty. No fungus, completely clean tray. Like there was never a body in it at all. It looks like somebody came through and cleaned it up after a body was there previously, or something like that. Doesn't look like it's been used recently at all.
High Tide, we have a problem.
Yeah, I can tell. There's something missing here. Looking at the cameras in the corner of the room, are the dots, are they still red, like they're recording?
Give me a luck roll. They're not.
You think? Oh no. I'm just gonna start checking the rest of the fridge doors.
And one by one, you start popping them open, and I mean, you see what High Tide saw. It was just a lot of bodies, no fungus.
Does anything else in the room look like it has been disturbed?
Give me a search roll. This room, no. But you do recall as you were walking around down here, like you just start thinking about details since you walked down here, details since you've been down here a few times now, and Halo is very good at searching things. He's very good at details with a 70 score in it. And you recall, the previous few times you've come down here, there have been a couple, like, lab coats hung up by the door on the way in. Usually, like, Janet was wearing one of them, so there's only one on the hook there. But Janet's not working today, and there was only one on the hook as you entered in here.
Is the desk where Janet was sitting, is that computer on?
It is off.
I'm going to turn it on and attempt to access it.
Okay.
Hall's gonna go back into the hallway and be like, "Hunter, he's not in here. Keep an eye out.
And Hunter's paranoia immediately kicks in.
All right. Everybody give me a sanity roll.
Yeah.
Ironically, Hunter is the only one who, well, you know, you didn't actually see the body missing, so it makes a little bit of sense. But the other two of you who were in there and expected a body and found none lose 1 point of sanity from the unnatural. High Tide, you're able to access the computer. It boots right up. It is password protected. There appears to be several accounts here. There is an account labeled Halsey and an account labeled Reese.
Is there any notes on the desk or anything that might have the password?
I think no. But if anyone has like computer science, they could try to break into it that way or anything like that. Just do some hacking.
Dang it.
Not quite enough. It appears that whoever handles the security of this place did manage to keep things updated and patched. None of your quick tricks, managed to get you out.
Just gonna check the other rooms in here for. I mean, he's probably gone, but just want to be double sure.
Sure. Give me another search roll.
Aw.
Start poking through some of the other rooms down here. There are a few more like, autopsy rooms, inspection rooms, that kind of thing. A few more sort of storage rooms. You also find the incinerator, of course. You just start poking through room by room in your why am I blanking on the word? The suit that protects you. Brain just doesn't want to bring it up.
Hazmat.
Hazmat, thank you. In your hazmat suit. Poking around room to room. I don't know why my brain just didn't read that from memory. Flipping the lights on as you go, one by one. The click and the like harsh sound of the lights coming up, the bright light in the room. But you don't see anything.
Well, I don't know if we can really explain the body not being here anymore to anybody. So I think we have to follow through with burning down that refrigeration unit. But then we also have to figure out what the hell happened to Deputy Jacob. I mean, he wasn't. His flesh wasn't dead. That's what Dr. Collins said. So maybe he actually got up and walked out. What, during the quarantine?
I'm going to attempt to do a sweep of the building and see if there are any cameras that were on. Or was that luck roll like the entire system is down?
Yeah, you can just walk around for it. Give me a search roll.
Oh, I'm not good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, you look around, you find what you're pretty sure are all the cameras down here, and just it looks like they were, potentially on when this place was in use, but things just got kind of shut down when people left the place. Yeah, so none of them are on that you can find. So.
And there are no windows or anything? At least down
not
here?
Down here, no.
All right. Hello starts dumping gasoline in the refrigeration unit.
All right. Hunter still down the hall, I expect. Is that right? So we got Hallow in the refrigeration unit just dumping fuel.
Hunter is down the hall. He's got his back to the wall and he's got his gun out. And he's sweeping with
All right.
What precious moisture he's been able to get back into his body is now dripping out in the form of sweat.
And High Tide, where are you at the moment?
I am probably upstairs trying to see if there are any windows or anything open.
Okay, so you've gone upstairs and you're just trying to find, potential places somebody might have gone out, etc. Excellent. I mean, I will say you get up there, and I mean, there is the front door, of course, is not far from where you would go down from the morgue. Whether or not somebody actually got out that way, like, I'll actually say you do walk over there, and I won't require a search roll for this. The front door locks from the inside, so somebody who was inside could have simply unlocked it and walked out. If that is, like, if you're looking for a place somebody may have walked out, it certainly is a possibility. I assume that's what you're looking for.
Well, yeah, so I assume the front door was locked when we first got there.
Yeah.
So someone had a key to get in. I'm more looking to see if there's a window that was opened and not locked back because someone closed it from the outside.
I see. Give me a search roll.
Dang it, oh.
Check every window, and they are all closed and locked. You're pretty confident that that is not what happened, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, they're either still here or they got out the front door somehow.
Precisely.
Or used the vents or the roof or something else funky like that.
Precisely.
Alright, well, after he has dumped out the jerry can, Hala will step back and light a match and throw it into the refrigeration unit.
All right. The fire goes up. It spreads quickly, and it swooshes up and into the unit wherever the fuel had leaked out even a little bit, and quickly the whole thing is just on fire. It feels very warm in front of you. The fire suppressant system in the building automatically kicks on. These sprinklers start going off. Fire alarms go off. Suddenly gets very loud down here as these, very, very harsh sounding fire alarms are blasting in this very echoey chamber you're in. Water starts raining down, of course, and the smoke is starting to dim the lights overhead. It's quite a scene you've already caused down here, and the fire hasn't even spread much. The sprinklers are doing good work on the fire, but since you gave it fuel, it's going to be hard for them to fight it with water alone.
It's also kind of contained inside the unit a little bit for the primary burn.
Yeah, so the sprinklers aren't getting in there so much.
Hal will step back and go back into the hallway and start pulling the fire hose further down over to the room just to be able to start spraying water as soon as it starts getting anywhere other than the refrigerator.
Sense?
He gives Hunter a pat on the shoulder as he takes the hose from him.
Hunter is paying almost no attention. His eyes are wide, his pupils are probably very dilated, and he's just looking for the guy he's sure is going to come murder him. Are the alarms and fire suppressant on throughout the whole building? Would that have all been linked together, or is it just localized down here?
Let's say it's the whole building because that's more dramatic.
Yeah, I think that would make sense too.
So the whole building is going off. So High Tide upstairs, the sprinklers have gone off, the alarms have gone off, and everything is just trying to suppress the fire, even though it's downstairs. Give me an alertness test, High Tide. You feel like someone is watching you. You feel paranoid in this moment. You feel a prickle on the back of your neck, even though it's protected in a heavy suit at the moment. The loud sounds around you, the water drenching you, etc., should drown out any kind of sensation that your body may subconsciously pick up on that would tell you you're being watched here, but you feel something.
Do I have a general direction, or is it just a feeling from everywhere?
The feeling starts to turn into something more than just that familiar yet unsettling feeling of being watched. And to put it in a fun term, that feeling blooms. You feel something inside you grow a little bit. A seed that perhaps you have planted yourself. And you can feel almost like something inside you pull in a specific direction, pointing deeper into the sheriff's office. Like a magnetic field or gravity, you're just being like pulled in that direction. But it feels like an organ inside of you is like pulling you that way. Give me a sanity check. That'll be 1d4 from the unnatural as you realize something in your body, even though it's very convenient and it's either convenient in offering you help here or it's leading you into danger, you don't know. But there's something in your body that's unnatural right now. You should not be feeling this. Okay, 3 points of unnatural.
Am I able to resist it, or is it too strong?
You can resist it. It's less of a compulsion and more like you are sensing something in that direction. Something beyond sight, beyond touch, beyond hearing. There's like a new sense that didn't exist there before.
I guess I will start following it and see if it's leading me towards the morgue.
It is not. It is on the current floor.
Huh. If I start walking in that direction, do I see any eyes or anything?
Nope. It goes down the hall and deeper into this place. Smoke is starting to come up the stairs from downstairs. It's starting to gather in the halls up here. It's starting to make this place hazy and hard to see higher in the halls especially. But you're being pulled in that direction. These loud alarms all around you. The water at your feet. You continue to follow it?
Is it getting stronger the closer I get to it?
Yes, it does appear to be getting stronger.
I guess I would keep walking towards it.
As you get down the hall, you see something you didn't see while you were sort of looking around this place earlier. You've run through all these rooms, looked in all the windows and such, and you had to, kind of walk through these halls before to even find the sort of the bomb disposal suit you're wearing now. But one of the doors, kind of, 2/3 of the way down this hallway on the left, the unmistakable signs of fungus crawling around the edges of the door. That same purple fungus you've been seeing for years.
All right, once I start seeing it, I will turn around and try to get the attention of my 2 fellow agents. If I am able to.
Of course. We'll cut back down to Hallow and Hunter, who are downstairs. Hallow is currently putting out a fire. We'll say that a little bit of time has passed, and the fire is spread throughout the refrigeration unit. It's pretty cooked at this point, so you start, catching the fires that are starting to escape it and really trying to maintain this fire. Hunter is paranoid, and you hear footsteps from the stairs, only to see High Tide coming down them.
The "who's there" scream chokes off as I recognize High Tide.
Ooh, ooh. What do we got for updates? Where is this guy?
So I don't really know what's happening, but I had a call, and something deep inside me was calling. I walked down the hallway a little bit, and it led me to a door that was open with mold coming out of it. Don't know if I'm going crazy, but we might want to check it out before we leave.
Yeah, I think you're right. We should probably do that now before it gets too wet, right? We still got any gas?
We brought 2 jerry cans. I only used 1.
Oh, good then. Let's go. Just make sure it's not like one of those visions some of us been having where the mold's not actually there when we look back. If we do still see it, then I guess we know what to do.
Well, whatever happens, you do not need to come in contact with it. You just got better.
Yeah, that's for the best. I'm not going through that again. I won't survive that again.
All right.
But I can be a pair of eyes at least. I can watch our back.
Yeah, if you want to watch our backs, I think this fire's pretty contained. It's not going to be getting out of that unit any more than it already did. These sprinklers are probably doing enough of a job. Let's go check that out.
And upstairs you go. Down the hall, you can see that door once again. The smoke is starting to get pretty thick in here. It's a little hard to see. But it's not, impossible. But High Tide, you no longer see fungus down there.
Do I still have the feeling of being pulled there?
You have that feeling, but it's pulling you to a different corner of the building now.
Alright, I will follow it and instruct my compatriots.
Is that where you saw the mold, hijack? Because I don't see any mold.
Yeah, but it's somewhere else now. As I start leading them towards the other feeling.
You can see that the door High Tide pointed out, that is now clean, leads into a janitor's closet, basically.
I don't like this man.
You're led deeper into the office once again. And in a section that's really just more desks, cubicles, all that kind of stuff at the very back of the place. That's where you're being led, High Tide. Alarms still blaring, sprinklers still raining down on your heads, smoke still choking you if it weren't for the oxygen masks you're all carrying. You feel like you're very close to it now, High Tide, but you've entered into this room that's just apparently an office, but currently being soaked.
You said there are a ton of desks?
Yep. It's a bunch of cubicles in the middle and then some desks around the outside of the room.
I'm gonna
It's
start
just
checking under the desks.
Is this the only entrance into this little office room?
Yes. We'll say one door into this place. There's a handful of windows outside, but they all are closed.
Hunter, you want to stay at the door If you see anything other than one of the two of us, you know what to do.
Yep, I got it.
All right, Tad, I think it's time we gave a sweep.
I think that's a good idea. I was going to start checking under desks, as I'm already looking under one of them.
Yeah. And I'll go the opposite direction.
I start sweeping around the office. Nothing out of the desks near the door. Nothing out of the desks around the edges. You start moving towards the back of the room, opposite corner from the entrance to the room. And you see what appears to be the corner of a lab coat sticking out from underneath one of the desks. Soaked, kind of floating on the little bit of water that's starting to build up in this place. You see a bottle, empty cleaner bottle, floating on this water as well, just pass by one of your feet as you walk back that way.
Oh, good. Does it have any reaction to us getting closer to it?
No.
All right. Who saw it? Was it High Tide or Hallow?
Saw the corner of the lab coat?
Yeah.
We'll say it was on the exact opposite corner of the room, so perhaps you both rounded the corners doing your sweep and saw it at relatively the same time, but maybe one of you nodded at the other, as you could both see it pretty clearly.
Hal will gesture for Hindsight to investigate as he's wearing the much heavier duty suit. And just ready his pistol.
Yeah, I will keep approaching, and if it starts reacting at a certain point, once I start getting around the corner, do I notice any human appendages, or is it more of, well, green men? Or
Get a little
gray men?
closer, and you see lab coat floating on the water. You get a little closer, and you see more lab coat. Keep looking. Where does the person in the lab coat start? You keep getting closer, and there's a lab coat under this desk. There's nothing else under this desk. The feeling you had before is gone.
I pick up the lab coat, there's nothing under it.
It's soaked, it's stained with a few different colors of like cleaner that were like clearly around like the collar and stuff. You can picture in your mind as if somebody was wearing this coat and just like guzzling cleaners, and the liquid dripping down them got caught up in the white coat, and that has caused a variety of colors. So, most of these cleaners were not fabric cleaners, but other than that, it's just a lab coat.
And there was no movement, no noise in the water before I saw it just as a coat?
Correct.
I guess I would
Sanity
pick
check,
it up.
please.
Oh my.
1 point of sanity damage.
I would pick it up, just turn around and show it to Hollow and say, well, that's strange.
Hala will immediately begin scouring even harder. Are there any... And you said all of the windows were closed, but does it look like any of them had been opened previous to us entering this room? And then
When
shut
I
again?
when I did a sweep earlier, all of the windows on this floor were closed and locked from the inside. So if something has changed,
How about we handle it this way? Who amongst you has the highest alertness score?
56.
44.
I
Taylor.
think Hunter's pretty alert, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I guess-
I'm frantically looking. 64.
Oh, 64. Okay, that's very alert. You know what? This makes some sense. Hunter at the door, looking into this room while you guys are searching through the room, has a different perspective on it and is sort of watching your backs as you do this, and sees one of the ceiling tiles shift.
The ceiling! He screams and unloads.
As you scream that, the ceiling tiles start shifting more rapidly as whatever's up there starts moving. We're going to enter initiative. All right. So, our initiative score is put High Tide first. Hunter called this out, so I will let Hunter or High Tide act first here, but yeah, whoever wants to go first here, go for it.
Hunter is definitely firing.
Yeah, I
Okay.
will let Hunter go first because I was distracted doing other stuff.
Makes sense. So, Hunter, give me a firearms check, minus 20%, because you're not really seeing your target. Still clear it. You just start firing up into the ceiling, looking for movement. Anywhere that these ceiling tiles are shifting, you're putting a bullet. Would you say you're just unloading your gun, just mag dumping?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll damage for that. You definitely succeeded. If we need to look up your gun, we can.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I think I just have it.
It's a 9mm. It's a D8.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Easy. Thank you. All right. You fire a bullet up into the ceiling, and you hear a high-pitched sound. It's not quite like a grunt, not quite like a scream. It's really almost more mechanical sounding. It has a tinge of static to it, as this just unnatural noise emits from the ceiling. A little bit of dark liquid drips out of the hole in the ceiling, and whatever's up there continues to shift rapidly. What are you doing, High Tide?
You're back.
So I did a sweep of the building to find the bomb suit. Did I notice any shotguns?
Probably somewhere, but if you want to run and grab one of those, they probably have a little armory, but it's probably locked up.
All right, well, then I'm going to... At this point, we have to contain it, so I'm going to be running to the front door and locking it.
Okay. You run to the front door, and as you get out there, you can see that a lot of the firefighters outside are starting to rush up and see what's happening, having heard gunshots, and you just get to the door and lock it. Before they're quite at the door, do you try to duck inside to remain hidden, or are you gonna wave them off and be like, no, don't come in? What's your...
I'm just gonna wave them off.
Okay. They stop at the base very confused, but they see you waving them off in a bomb
In a
defusal suit. Yeah. And they start backing up. They don't know what's going on in there. Okay. I don't need you to roll for that. You've got the attire for it. Hallow, what are you doing?
Seeing the ceiling tiles shift, Hallow's gonna try and run up and rip the ceiling tiles out from under where the shifting is. He wants this out of the ceiling.
Okay. I think to do it quickly and catch up with it, because it is moving through the ceiling, and you're kind of trying to cut it off and get to it where it is, even though it's moving quite quickly. Some kind of athletics roll would make sense to me. Or maybe just a stat, if your athletics isn't so good, I feel like there could be an argument for strength.
Yeah, I could go for strength.
Okay, strength works for me. All right, so you rush up under it, and as in your hazmat suit, you just grunting against the extra weight, grunting against the water and everything in here. You get up under it and you just tear out one of the ceiling panels. And what you see up there is a mass of this fungus. It is no longer a humanoid body. It is crustacean in nature. It is an animal. It is a fungal thing that is flickering in and out of existence. It is constantly changing. Its body is made up of tendrils wrapping over each other in different ways and chitins sticking out at odd angles. It makes no physical sense how some of these things intersect, as if it doesn't exist in 3D space. It shrieks as it begins to fall from the ceiling, and then it falls with a reduced sense of gravity. It is not like moon gravity, but it's close to it. It's like slowly falling through the air, maybe at about half the speed you'd expect. And it begins to position a couple tendrils at the wall to kick off the wall. I need both of you who are in the room still to make a sanity check upon seeing this thing.
Hallow sees it, and this is what he's here to kill.
Yep. Could I get a sanity check from Hunter, too?
I guess I should check on this thing having been damaged. Did I feel any repercussions since I seem to have some sort of a link to it?
I think that sense you had did like flare up, like almost like you know, in the moments before that sense went away, but whatever it was doing to conceal itself, it was no longer concealing itself once it was fired upon, and you could feel it again.
So I'm a compass to point out where it is.
Indeed, something like that. Whether that's a good or bad thing, who knows? But for now, it's helpful. Okay, so both of you succeeded on your sanity tests. You're fine. I mean, it's a weird-looking thing, but you know, you've seen weird shit like this before. So, it has fallen out of the ceiling. It is going to take its turn now. And since Hollow is naturally very close to it, having ripped it out of the ceiling, it is going to go ahead and make a grapple attack. Which it fails to do. It's going to jump off the wall, and you can tell that perhaps this body is still in a state of partial formation. It's not complete yet, whatever this thing is. It's not ready to, you know, fully take advantage of all of its capabilities. It pushes off the wall towards you, Hollow, and reaches out with some tendrils, but they're kind of slow. They're in almost as much slow motion as the thing is falling through the air itself, and you're able to easily duck out of the way. And now we're back to High Tide. You've closed off the door. You've scared away the firefighters. What are you doing now?
I don't know. I've got a bomb suit on. All of my weapons are probably underneath the bomb suit because I don't know if I would have put them outside. Are there any... I feel like this might not be in the locked door, like police batons that I can just use to whack stuff if I need to.
I mean, you can find a number of things. I think they would keep pretty much all of their weapons locked up, even if they're non-lethal ones like that. But you can find stuff. You can find something heavy, a big old paperweight or something. You can give me a search roll, see what you can find.
All right, cool.
You start looking around. No weapons. Closest you could find is like a stapler and a paperweight.
Oh yeah, that'll help against an interdimensional being.
Yep.
I pick them up.
Okay, you pick them up and start heading back in that direction. Hunter, You've landed a shot on this thing, and now it is visible in front of you. But you have pretty much dumped your magazine. What are you doing?
Reloading.
Okay. You take a second to reload as it tussles with Hallow. Hallow, what are you doing?
Hallow is going to try and grapple it back and then start shifting it towards that janitorial closet and yelling to Hunter, "Let's put her in the closet! We can burn it there!"
Absolutely.
Hunter is
I rolled on
confused.
that, and I don't think that worked.
Sorry, Hunter?
Hunter is confused by the direction to move into grabbing and shoving while he's trying to reload. And is just focusing on trying to get more bullets in gun.
Alright. And yeah, you see they're trying to like grab at each other. Like this thing is trying to grab Agent Hollow. Agent Hollow is trying to grab it back, but they keep on like sliding out of the way of each other. They're just kind of just tussling in close range. And then High Tide re-enters the scene with a stapler and a paperweight. What are you doing?
Me?
Yes.
So, I'm gonna see Hollow trying to grab it, and since I actually didn't see it before, now that it's like going in and out of existence, I'm gonna look to the side and see the cleaner. I'm gonna drop the paperweight and the stapler and go to the janitor's closet and look for cleaners and stuff. And maybe a mop bucket that I can dump a whole bottle of cleaner into to lure it into a bucket.
Okay. So you drop what you're holding, run back to the janitor's closet, throw open the door, and you see dozens of empty bottles tipped over on their sides. You see, it looks like some of the like mops and things and various tools, like the mop bucket with a metal handle. The metal handle is gone. It looks like it was sucked out of the plastic it attaches to. Like several metal things and all the chemicals in the room have just disappeared from this room.
Oh, is there a mop bucket?
There's a mop bucket. Yeah, it's empty, but it does exist.
I mean, it's still capture device.
All right, so you drop the paperweight, grab the bucket, and run back. Okay, this thing is going to attempt to grapple Hallow again. This time it does succeed. So, it wraps a couple tendrils, like kind of under your arms, then up over your arms, and just kind of wrapping around your arms up to your shoulders, and then like under your armpits and up around your shoulders onto your collarbones. It's just got a really firm hold around your arms. And then you can see what appears to be some sort of thing, kind of like its jaw almost unhinges. If it had a jaw, some part of it, like a mandible, lowers and extends forward, and you see a very sharp point descend from that, like it is preparing to inject you with something. Now it is Hunter's turn. You're a reloaded Hunter. Your ally is currently wrapped up in this creature. You're at danger.
I'm gonna
of shooting.
calmly do my best to walk up, put the gun against some fleshy membrane of the enemy that looks important, and psychopathically pull the trigger.
Okay. You can give me a firearms check at 20%, but don't crit fumble it, because this could be damage against your ally here. All right, not a crit failure. We'll say you walk up to this thing, and yeah, it was pretty close. Only like 5 points off. But you walk up to this thing, and seeing you approach it with the gun, you're not even sure if it sees you because you don't see eyes on it, but it does seem to detect you because it swivels to put Hallow between you and it, with Hallow's back facing towards you. Don't get off a good shot here. We'll say you don't even consume ammo though. You just don't have a good angle, so you're fine. High Tide, you re-enter the room with a bucket.
Yeah, can I, wherever the most mass is, can I try to scoop it off of Hallow?
Yeah, you could give me an unarmed combat check to essentially break Hallow free. All right. So you rush up to it, and you just get this bucket right around that sharp point that it was extending towards Hallow and just shove backwards. And you hear that same shrieking noise come from inside the bucket, kind of echoing from the bucket, and it sounds like, even more weird since it's got that plasticky, hollow ring to it now. And then it unravels from Hallow's arms and kind of tumbles backwards through space, kind of almost as if you had knocked it away from him. And it doesn't get stuck inside your bucket, but it does kind of like flip over, it bounce against the back wall, and then plant more tendrils against the wall, ready to pounce again. Hallow, you're free. What are you doing?
Hallow, having not enjoyed being grappled by that and seeing the point, shoots his gun at it.
Okay. You quickly draw the gun and fire. Roll me firearms. It's not near anyone, so there's no penalty. Okay. That is a failure. We'll say in your haste to draw the gun and fire, you just miss. It just didn't take proper time to aim. And even in this close quarter situation, you're dealing with a hazmat suit and stuff too. Not an ideal situation for this. And so it is Hunter's turn. I have a much clearer shot.
Hunter is going to take the shot.
All right, go for it. No penalty, no bonus. Okay. So
We're not rolling well tonight, boys.
not rolling well. Take a few steps forward, and we'll say it's just unlucky as your allies get in the way again. They're just all in front of you. This thing is crouched up against the wall, and as you finally get a good angle to take the shot, it is already sprung off at a diagonal angle, bouncing off another wall. High Tide, what are you doing?
So I was able to scoop it with my bucket, but it seemed like it kind of phased through the bucket almost.
It was more like you tried to scoop it with the bucket, and then it almost bounced off the bucket instead. Like it's like lighter than air, and you went to catch it, and it just kind of bounced away and like bounced off another wall.
At this point,
Mud aliens.
at this point, is the water still going, or has the fire suppression stopped?
I think it's still going for now, but it may end soon.
Okay, I guess I'm going to... I don't know. I don't really have any weapons to use against it unless I can try to hit it with the bucket and do damage with the bucket, but... Would that be a melee weapon swing?
Yeah, you could do melee weapon. That's fine with me. Maybe try to rush it with the bucket, and you just swing wildly, and it's not an ideal weapon, and this thing just tumbles out of the way quickly, and now it is going to make a bit of a roll here. Want to make sure I get this target correct. Apologies. I know I saw this. Okay, there we go. So, as it springboards off one of the walls, you see it flicker out of existence. And then it flickers back into existence right behind Agent Hallow. Hunter, you've got a good shot here, but Hallow's right on the other side of it. What are you doing?
Taking it.
Take the shot. Directly into its back. one solid bullet. Go ahead and roll a d8. It may be more bullets if it's a higher on the d8. Okay, perhaps you unload a few shots into its back with 7 points of damage. And these shrieks rise in intensity, and it spins towards you. Hallow, it's drawn its attention away from you. Now it's your turn. What are you doing?
Hallow shoots too. It's been distracted,
All
and
right.
we're adapted to violence.
Roll damage.
Oh, sorry, that's a different thing. That just rolled firearms again. There we go. Ooh!
All right, you shoot the exact same number of bullets. Just pop, 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 pop from the other side. And as this thing spins to face Hunter, both of you on either side of it just unleash bullets across it, and it's like the crossfire between you just shreds this thing. And miraculously, neither of you are hit by bullets that penetrate all the way through or anything. It seems like the bullets sink into the body and don't go any farther. It flickers out of existence and then kind of descends to the floor and crumples and begins to dissolve.
I don't trust this. Where's that feeling? Did it go away? Do I still got that gut feeling?
The feeling is gone. Now on the floor is a pile of fungus that does not resemble any body of any kind. It's a solid pile of fungus, almost half floating in the water.
Scoop it up with the bucket.
All right, you scoop up a good chunk of it with the bucket. I think it's a little larger than the bucket, but you get like half of it. It's like a human-sized massive fungus. You get a good chunk of it, maybe not even half, but the big ball bucket.
Douse it in gasoline, let's burn it. Dump it in gasoline, let's burn it.
Yep.
Burn it till it. Well, I guess it's already dead, but burn it till it's no longer among us.
All right, so we see.
Bum, bum, bum,
Are you
bum.
guys like just burning it here in the
Ba-da-ba.
office?
Take it down to the morgue where we've already burned everything if we can.
All right, so you just start scooping up bits of it, transporting it down, throwing it into the fire, pouring more gasoline on for good measure, and we'll say that takes you just a little bit of time here. You just keep scooping up more, and you just keep tending that fire. And thankfully, High Tide, that feeling never comes back. You guys watch this fire burn. You guys can each roll 1d6.
No,
Regain
come on.
that much sanity.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm glad that shooting in the general direction of my allies caused me to gain some sanity. It was really needed.
And me.
Mm-hmm.
My bucket was very effective. I get one.
Your bucket was very good at transporting the body. It was great for that. Nice. Okay, so you guys just sit here and tend to the fire and make sure it doesn't spread and all of that, the usual.
I would definitely go back upstairs and make sure the firefighters don't try to do anything funny.
Okay, so you get to the door and several of them they're like waiting outside. You can see they're like primed and ready to rush in, but none of them are like waiting at the door. They realized that you're in a bomb defusal suit. They're gonna wait for further communication, but they also are ready to rush in at a moment's notice. So when they see you at the door, we see the Chief Billy runs up again, and he just gets close to the door and he shouts out like, "All clear!"
I would definitely unlock the door and kind of crack it open a little bit, but it probably flies open with how much water there is in the building. And I would just be like, yeah, we have it under control. Things got a little out of hand, but we are dealing with it.
Was there bombs in there or something? Was that gunfire?
No, the fire started crackling, making a little bit of a weird noise, so
Roll me a persuade check. Minus 20%.
I'm gonna scream over him. It's classified.
Aw. Yeah, the fire, right. We'll just keep standing by.
All right, thank you. Once enough water rushes out, I'm going to close the door and lock it again.
Okay. We'll say
All right.
the rest of this fire tending business goes uneventfully. You eventually put it out once you're satisfied with the level of destruction of the morgue, or that section of it, anyways, and the body you have scooped up and loaded into it. And eventually the fire suppression systems shut down as you're free to go. You can go back out and talk with the firemen or whatever your next order of business is.
I would definitely
right.
go back to the other two and say, guys, the gunshots, it was the fire. I told them it was the fire. I think they believed me.
I'll just raise an eyebrow.
You know, the fire department is gonna, be able to identify gunpowder residue, right? And bullet holes and bullet casings.
Yeah, literal bullet holes in the ceiling tiles.
The ripped out ceiling tile.
Look, it's classified. They don't need to worry anymore about it. It's really not their jurisdiction. All they need to know is we put the fires up, they take the fires down. We think we're pretty good.
He's actually right about that. Using the classification as a barrier to this is going to be very helpful now. We can tell them that it was not what we expected, so we had to take some extra actions, but we have contained the situation. So, yeah, and in fact, I'll go tell them that now.
I guess that's a better cover.
I'll go with backup just in case.
So I think we can skip over this conversation. I don't think it'll be too interesting. It'll be a rehash of what you all just said. So we'll say you pass that along. I think a roll would be good here, though. Perhaps law or bureaucracy to like properly pull off the bullshit that you're trying to sell here. You know, like telling them what procedures are
Would
in
you like
effect that
us-
aren't really in effect. Yeah, who is gonna take either law or bureaucracy? I'll take either.
I have
I've got
50 bureaucracy.
Okay, you should do it because this is not my strong suit.
Yeah, I have a 40, so you still have that.
All right. So
It was the bullets, trust me. It was the fire.
it was the fire. It was the fire. There was no gunshots. It was only fire. Very believable. It's classified. It's classified.
For reference, I have 0 law and 10 bureaucracy.
Hell yeah. It's okay. It's farm boy. Got no use for the shit.
I work as an intelligence agent.
Yeah. Okay, so
And I have
We'll-
a gun.
we'll see a quick montage scene of the fire crew starting to clean some stuff up. Some of them have gone inside to make sure the fires are really all put out, that kind of stuff. And you know, they just do their proper procedures, making sure everything is all set here, resetting all the systems, packing up their stuff, and a few hours pass, and it's now later into the afternoon. Where are you guys now? Still, we'll say maybe you had to stay for a few hours while all these procedures happened, and now the last truck has left. The three of you are back alone in the parking lot.
Do you all want to get some lunch? All
Yeah.
of that. I think it really got the blood pumping again. I think I can keep some more solid stuff down.
Yeah.
I want to drink a gallon of coffee. You have no idea how much I'm missing coffee.
I'm definitely hungry. I worked up an appetite doing all that.
Yeah, and I guess course of action after that. Do we want to go to Brett's
Brent's
house?
house? Yeah, I think that's the next thing we need to do. We should probably also update the undersheriff that His station is thoroughly soaked, but it's still standing.
Yeah, do we want to wait a day and give it some time before we let him know?
I imagine Chief Billy is also calling him and letting him know. So,
I guess that's right. I guess that's good.
all right. I mean, if he's got my number, so if he wants an update from us, he can call. So we can go get some food and check out Dr. McCaslin's house.
All right.
Food.
Do you guys want to have a conversation over food, or is food a scene we can skip over? What's the
I think we can
thought
skip
here?
over.
Yeah, I think we can skip over.
All right, so we'll say you go to a local diner, you get some food. It's great. Those of you who haven't eaten in a couple days because of your treatments, um, it your body takes a minute to readjust to like eating food again. You have to take it slowly, but it's the best tasting food you have ever had. What do you order at the diner? Let's have that bit at least. You get pancakes, you get eggs and bacon. Just
Oh,
getting what?
pancakes, egg,
Burgers.
bacon, sausage.
Okay, full breakfast.
Yes, the lumberjack breakfast. I'm sure they have
Okay.
some variation of something they call that.
Hell yeah. All the eggs and bacon they have.
The real Ron Swanson way.
Yes. And so very full and packed with nutrients your body sorely lacked. You're back on the road and headed to Dr. McCaslin's house.
Also, I do want to say my car, I believe, was left at the police station. So at this point, I'm going to take my car so we at least have two or more.
Okay. Noted, and I'll assume you left behind the bomb defusal suit.
No.
Do you take that with you?
Oh,
You
yeah,
just
I threw it in my
stole
car.
it from the.
We need it more than they do.
Oh, that's fair. It's just literally theft from a police station. This cannot go wrong. It'll be fine.
I'm going to use
Okay,
it.
they can.
Hey, I'm a
they can
federal
just-
agent.
They just need to expense it out. It's all good.
Yeah, asking for forgiveness later, it'll always go out. This is like the third or fourth time that's happened in this particular mission. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The Delta Green will closet over.
Yeah, well, I
okay.
mean, until they get us our hazmat suits.
So, one man in a hazmat suit, one man in a bomb defusal suit, and one man approach a house out in the middle of nowhere. It is a lonely, like lonely old house, like out in the like just barely what you'd start to consider countryside out here. It's just like just out of town enough that it's like it could have been an old farmhouse, but it doesn't really have any of the farmhousey stuff anymore. Like maybe it had a barn once, like a while ago.
Until
but
somebody
no
burned
longer
it down?
does. Until somebody burned it down. Exactly. No, but it's just a lonely house out here in the middle of nowhere. And you find that spot, and you pull up to it. It's a smallish place. Maybe it's like a 2-bedroom place inside. It's not like a tiny place, but you can see even from the driveway as you pull up into it, there is like a ton of mail piled up inside the mailbox.
Is there anything from the biotech company?
In the mailbox,
Yeah.
you start pulling out envelopes and looking through them. It doesn't look like any of them are particularly from Benthic, but I mean, it's just like a bunch of odds and ends of random things. A bunch of it is just junk mail that's just piled up. There's a few letters that appear to be like personal letters, but those are more rare amongst the mix here. Maybe you do find like what looks like a single pay stub mixed in from Benthic, but it's not like there's a ton of official communications in the mailbox or anything like that.
You've been pre-qualified for a credit card.
Yeah, all of that, exactly. Advertisements for things around town, all sorts of stuff like that. coupons, catalogs, etc.
All right, I would throw it all on the ground.
front door
There's
is
nothing here.
is the door unlocked? Is it locked?
The front door is locked.
The front door's locked. Anyone check around the back?
I waddle around to check the back door.
Also locked.
Are you aware? Did this person die in that fire? I assume he did, with how burned you said he was.
Oh, he's very dead.
Punch a window in the back.
Was that a suggestion, or are you doing that?
I would do that.
Okay. You break a window in the back. Maybe find a nearby rock, chuck it through. Shattering of glass, and you immediately smell an earthy smell coming from inside the house as soon as the window is broken.
I'm wearing a bomb suit, so I don't think I do.
Are bomb suits like as insulated as hazmat suits? I don't have
I
awareness
don't
of
think
these
they
things.
are. I think they're
Alright.
mostly, yeah. I don't think they block like vapors and things.
They're like heavily armored, but yeah, I didn't think.
Yeah.
Well, then I would walk around front and say, guys, there's an earthy smell, just like the mushrooms I've smelled before at the corner. We're in for a ride.
I'm just now picturing the three of you at the diner, one in a hazmat suit, one in a bomb defusal suit.
Hazmat suit,
You
helmets,
require
like
3 breakfasts.
conviction on the back while shoveling food.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so sorry to interrupt you, High Tide. You said yeah, earthy smell.
Yeah, I would go up front and say, hey guys, we have a way in the back. Earthy smell again. We're in for a ride.
And we don't have any extra gasoline, do we?
We could go get some.
That's probably prudent.
Let's go get some.
Do we know if he had a wife or anything, any family? I should have asked before I just broke a window, but
I
thought it was
think
more important to get in.
that's a very relevant question. I think the police officer would have told you. I think we can assume that that's like a question I would have passed. Yeah. No other relations here. He lived alone.
Okay.
All right. Well, Hunter, you still don't have a suit, so keep your eyes open.
All right, I, Taylor, need to leave, so Hunter will keep his eyes open and just kind of hang back, I guess.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, Hunter will stay
Yeah.
behind. Thank you, Taylor. We'll catch you later.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
All
right, Hightide, let's get in there.
Yeah, I was gonna go to the window I broke and unlock the latch and slide up the window, so that
Easy enough.
hopefully I can get in.
Indeed, you
Can
do.
you- Can
Maybe
you unlock
not
the
in.
back door while you're in there? Oh, because he wouldn't fit really
How
in the big ass
bulky
suit.
the big ass bomb defusal suits? I feel like it might be really hard to fit through a window. Those are fucking extremely bulky, right? That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
The mobility is not really at the point of them.
Yeah. Didn't think that through.
We could say maybe you realize that, and then like you could smash open a window on the door and open the door lock that way or something. But you've broken one window. Why not two?
Yeah, I mean, we already have to forgive the police for stealing their bomb suit. Forgive them for breaking and entering too. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might be burning this house down also. So
It's classified.
yeah, it's classified. we had to burn the house down for classified reasons.
It was the fire, trust me.
Yep.
The fire caused the fire, not us.
We didn't start the fire.
Fire's been burning since the fungus been
Exactly.
infecting.
I feel
Something
like
like
it
that.
works out better that I'm trying to like get into the window with the suit, and then Hallow just breaks the window on the door and unlocks it and opens it.
Yeah.
Excellent. I like that. Okay, but you're in either way. We'll say the back door leads into a kitchen area, and it's just extremely strong earthy smell back here. There are multiple garbage bags on the floor here that look very. It looks like they've sagged a bit, like whatever's inside is mostly liquid, or very mushy. There are things around the room just kind of scattered around. There are broken plates everywhere. It looks like most of the belongings in this room have just been like tossed and thrown around, like a tornado came through this place. Knives from the knife block are just kind of stabbed into the wall in a few places. Like it's just craziness in here.
Does it look like there's a computer room?
Yeah, you can look around for it. Give me, I won't make you do a search roll for this. You can find a room, and if it's got a computer in it, it's not like it's hidden.
I guess computer
Um,
room is a bad thing, but like more of an office space that might have
yeah, I
notes
think he
and
does
ramblings.
have an office. Um, you find in his office room, like maybe it was a 2-bedroom place. He converted one of the bedrooms into an office. Um, like on his desk, like things around here are also thrown around. Books from shelves have been tossed around, pages have been ripped out. It's just craziness in here. But in the mess, you do find one of the few things that hasn't been thrown around is a notebook on the desk, um, where there's like all these like madman notes that are scribbled, where like big scratchy letters across the pages and like rambling off into topics that don't make any sense, and it's very familiar. It's very similar to the notes you saw from was it Adams? Was that the man's name? The amateur
Scott
reporter with
Adams,
the
yeah.
Scott Adams. Thank you,
Oh yeah,
Scott
Scott Adams.
Adams. He had that like rambling note on his computer. It's very similar to that. But in the scrawl, in the madness, you do see a lot of references to finding the tape, learning the song, finding the star people, etc. He's like listed Owl's Head Mountain. He's like got a lot of notes here that are very relevant to things you've been dealing with in the case that he definitely should not know. Give me a sanity check. 1 point of sanity damage from this realization.
Well, so much for killing that monster.
Bucket. Um,
All right, I
Why
guess I
say
will.
bucket when we can say bucket?
I will take his notes and scroll a couple pages before all of the ramblings of the tape, the song, the star people, and see if there's anything about experiments done or is it all the way to the front page is these crazy ramblings?
they don't go all the way to the front page now. It begins to be more normal notes towards the beginning, but it doesn't appear like it was originally a diary or anything. It was just scratched notes, just of things he wanted to write down. So there's not a ton to find there, but there are like occasional notes about like, he's got this dentist appointment, and he's meeting with X friend on Y day, and like just kind of keeping track of a few things or random phone numbers he's written down. But give me a search roll and see if you can find anything interesting in the mess. Yeah, you feel like you could take this notebook and like really thoroughly examine it later. You might even think you might be able to find like more interesting clues in the madness if you examined it later, like with more time. But for now, you're not really getting much out of it.
Paula, can you find anything in here? He's got doctor's notes and dentist's appointments and talking about friends. I don't know. I can't find anything.
Yeah, I can take a look. On my way in there, does it seem like a lot of the madness in like the kitchen and other places? Does that seem like there was a struggle, or did Dr. McCaslin seem to have just done this himself?
Um, hmm. I think I don't think I need a roll for that. I think it seems pretty clear. Um, it looks like Dr. McCaslin, just went crazy and started just tearing through everything here. It looks like less of a struggle and more of somebody just smashing things and breaking things and going mad.
All right, I can take a look at this book. You still smelling earth? We haven't seen any mushrooms yet. Is there
Am
a
I?
basement in this house? And I can also take a look at the notebook.
I would point out maybe not the notebook, maybe the mess.
Oh, the mess, yeah. Hal will start sifting through the mess and look for anything that
Sure.
maybe looks like it has, in particular, benthic letterhead or anything like that.
Yeah, you can give me a search. Um, yeah, you do find a couple of notes he kept from work stuff. It appears maybe he brought some work home and is working on a few things here. The main thing you find is that um, a lot of the notes appear to be fairly normal stuff about different bits of research. They're working on different biochem research projects from the past, but the most recent project they've been working on and the last bit of like research notes that you find that aren't just craziness yet are talking about investigating um, I want to make sure I get this term right. I think it's extremophiles, but I want to make sure. But in the extremophiles in the Eden pit.
Hey, Hat
Uh,
Todd, I think I got something. You remember being told about Eden Pit?
Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
Yeah, that's relevant again.
Oh, good.
It seems,
Eden Pit was asbestos mine, correct?
yeah, or I think so. Hang on, I have. Yeah, it was near an abandoned asbestos mine. I think it's now it's like basically a man-made lake.
You also find a photo, like a framed photo. It looks like most of his photos are different work trips he went on, or a few different vacation photos and things like that. It doesn't look like he has a lot of family photos, but one of his work photos is notable in that he appears to be wearing a underwater hazmat suit that hasn't been sealed up yet. He still has his head poking out of the top, and he's just like smiling, giving a thumbs up, like about to go on my first underwater hazmat suit trip kind of vibe for the photo.
About to get infected with an alien parasite. Let's go.
So
Is there a date on the photo? Was the camera set to include the date on every single thing?
no, there's no date on the photo itself.
Okay.
There's no
Uh,
note on the back of it.
what about on the project notes about investigating the extremophiles?
On the project notes, it says, they started making trips. It appears that like this project came up earlier this year. Um, it's now March. It looks like they started really taking this project seriously, like late last year, and they started making trips in February. The most recent trip into the pit was the 13th of February.
And the deputy toxic shock on March 1st.
Indeed.
And then where
Timeline
was.
lines up.
Oh, February 26th is the tape.
Yeah, that's when the body cam footage was from the 26th. That's right.
Suspicious.
Oh, we got to get to Benthic then. And we also got to figure out if there's anything else in this house.
I would
Uh,
I would take
run the
the
notes outside real quick and put them in the car.
I would take the photo out of the frame and see if there's anything written on the back of it.
Nothing on the back of the photo. It doesn't
Okay.
appear he was particularly sentimental, but it did look like this was an important project to him, so he just kept that photo. Um, and it doesn't look like he was the type to just like conceal random notes or things like that.
On the notes of Eden Pit, did it have um any other scientists or people listed on it?
Um, yes. There is Dr. McKelson, and then his boss, essentially, Laura Gent.
All right.
Ghent.
While Hallow is putting the notes in the car, I am going to go into the house and start exploring and seeing if the earthy smell gets stronger anywhere. Like if there's a basement or start opening doors and stuff.
Yeah. I'll say I don't even need a roll for this. It appears that those trash bags you saw in the kitchen, and there's a few others in various places. Looks like there's a couple trash bags in the bathrooms, for example, and also the tub and toilet. There appears to be a lot of this earthy smell coming from what appears to be vomit. He was just vomiting into the trash can, into the toilet, into the tub, just repeatedly. And apparently didn't see anything wrong with this behavior because he just wrapped up the bags and left them on the floor and then opened a new bag.
Is there any fungus growing or is it just vomit if I were to cut the top of one of them open?
Yes, there's fungus. It's not like a strong fungus, but you can see like a few little sprouts coming from the like not sprouts doesn't make sense for fungus, but you know what I mean? Like a few little wisps of that
Buds.
purpley tendrils kind of rising up from the fuzz.
Oh, buds.
Yeah, buds. Something. I don't know. Little bits of fungus. It's not like nearly as much as when you've encountered a body before, but this stuff is clearly contaminated.
All right. So now we're probably going to need a containment unit over here too.
Oh, good. I will give Grace a call when we're ready to leave then. And I mean, I think we might have found everything there is to find here, so I may as well call her now. She probably will like an update on the police station incident as well. So step outside and dial Grace.
All right. We'll assume you call in the thing. We'll pick up from there next time. But as you do exit, High Tide, can you make me a luck roll plus 20%? All right. So you call Grace. I guess we got a couple of minutes. So you call Grace and yes, agent, status report.
Well, ma'am, we contained the infection inside the police station. It had become mobile, but we're good. It's contained. It's burned. There shouldn't be anything left in there.
Excellent work, agents. Above and beyond as always.
Additionally, we just finished investigating Dr. McCaslin's house. Found some research notes in his office mentioning research on extremophiles in the Eden Pit. That's become very relevant. It's outside an abandoned asbestos mine here. They did their last project trip on the 13th of February, 2 weeks before Deputy Jacob was first infected and ran into him on the side of the road. We're also going to need a cleanup team here at the house. He had been vomiting in trash bags and all over the place, and there is an additional infection beginning to sprout.
Understood. I will redirect the current janitorial services, shall we say, They are currently working on your hotel room. Once they're done with that, they'll head right over there. Your backup has arrived with the hazmat suits and is waiting for you at the hotel as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Next course of business, I think, is to head to Benthic themselves.
Of course. This does seem like the
Well-
logical next lead.
So we'll check in at the hotel, pick up the hazmat and the backup.
Understood. Thank you for your work, Agent. Let us know if you need anything else.
Will do.
And that is where we will cut it off for tonight. Thank you guys so much for playing.
Thank you for running.